The sixth most common question asked by the non-Muslim regarding Islam is, if a man can marry more than one woman, then why can't women in Islam marry more than one man? If polygyny is allowed in Islam, why is polyandry not allowed? And the reply to this question can be given in brief, that Allah has given the woman who you can marry in Surah Nisa chapter 4, verse number 20 to 24, the woman you can marry and who you cannot marry is given. Surah Nisa chapter 4, verse number 24 says, you cannot marry the woman who's already married. So Quran is clear cut in Surah Nisa chapter 4, verse number 24, that a woman cannot have more than one husband simultaneously. So you cannot marry a woman who's already married. Now what are the reasons? Number one, that if a man has more than one wife, and if the child is born, you can easily identify who is the father and who is the mother. Very easy. But if a woman has more than one husband, you can identify who is the mother, but you will not come to know who is the father. So if you go to school to give admission, you may have to give two fathers' names or three fathers' names. Now, we come to know that today science tells us that if you cannot identify the parent, especially the father, the child has a very traumatic childhood. If you know who the mother is, if you don't know who the father is, and especially the children of prostitutes, you know the children have a traumatic childhood. Very dangerous. So Islam does not believe in this. Identifying the parents, mother and father, is very important. So therefore in Islam, if you do polygyny, you can identify both the parents, but if you do polyandry, you can only identify the mother, not the father. I'm aware today, recently, a few years before or a decade earlier, there is genetic testing. With the help of genetic testing, you can come to know who is the mother and who is the father. But this came recently. Islam is this since time immemorial. Since 1400 years old, the Quran is revealed. It's not new. And of course, there are some issues in gender. But even if I agree it's correct, you can't carry a certificate always, oh, this is a genetic testing certificate. I belong to this man, not to the other man. Yet you'll have people slandering you or laying objections. But this is not the only reason that you cannot identify the mother and father. There are various reasons. Number two, man is more polygamous in nature than the woman. That means a man requires more sexual partners as compared to a woman. This is scientifically, biologically and medically. Number three, biologically and physically, the makeup of man differs than that of a woman. For a man, it is possible for him to do the role of multiple husbands if he is involved in polygyny. If a man has more than one wife, he can very well do the role of multiple husbands easily. But if a woman has more than one husband, because of a menstrual cycle, because of the estrogen level being released, it's extremely difficult for her to do the role of multiple wives. And that's the reason in Islam, a man has been told that when the woman undergoes menstrual cycle, you have to be kind and soft to her. Islam does not allow a man to give divorce when the woman is undergoing a menstrual cycle, because during menstrual cycle, her emotional level changes, and at that time you should not give divorce. Wait till the menstrual cycle is over. So Islam takes care of the woman during a menstrual cycle. So in this period, imagine, to take care of one husband is okay, but if she undergoes these physical, biological and psychological changes, and if she has more than one husband, for her to do the role of multiple husband is extremely difficult. Point number 4. Today science tells us that if a woman has multiple sexual partners, or she is involved in polyandrous marriages, she has multiple husbands, and all of them are truthful, there is no extramarital sex. But if one woman has 3-4 husbands, there is chances of venereal or sexual diseases emerging in the woman, which can be transmitted back to the husbands. Which is not the case if a man has multiple wives and all of them are lawful to each other. Just because each woman has only one sexual partner, there is no chances of venereal and sexual diseases emerging. So that's the reason in Islam, Polygyny is allowed where a man can have more wives, where even if he has multiple wives, there'll be no venereal disease, there'll be no sexual disease. But if a woman has multiple husbands, which Islam does not allow, and if she has more than one sexual partners, there'll be venereal and sexual diseases which can emerge and be transmitted back to the husband. So these are few reasons that we can think logically why Islam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not permitted polyandry. Allah knows there'll be multiple more reasons why polyandry is not allowed and polygyny is permitted.